Hey guys, this video is for educational purposes only. Please do not break the law. Hey Adam, welcome to the Growers MBA podcast by Green Thumb Depot.
How's it going, guys? I'm happy to be here.
Good. Adam, so tell me a bit about yourself and your experience in the industry. You're with STM Canna.
Yep. I joined STM Canna last year to help grow their channel partnerships. I have been in the channel for over 20 years, came from computer IT, and in 2017, what brought me into cannabis was I started a side hustle in hemp wellness and was really attracted to letting people learn about the health benefits of cannabis. I hadn't previously seen those, but I started a wellness company and it did very well and was happy with that, and then learned about all the different regulations and things that make it challenging. So I was happy to find a larger employer to work for in the cannabis space, and that's eventually what brought me here to STM Canna.
That's awesome. I love talking with all the people in the industry because it's really obvious to me that everyone that's involved is just really passionate. They've obviously got tons of experience. And so it's just really fun and really interesting for me to talk to you guys. So STM Canna has been around a very long time. Can you tell me and everyone listening a bit about STM Canna and what you guys are all about?
Yeah, it's a great little story here. First off, we're made in America. All products are designed, developed, the metal is bent, the assembly is done right here in America. And the owner of the company came from an engineering background, so the CEO is an engineer. He sensed that there was sort of a quality dip. You got to imagine cannabis came from a gray market, and amongst legalization, there wasn't a bevy of quality controlled solutions out there. Some things that were showing up on the market were not the best. So he saw a need to bring a high quality there, especially when you're looking at the medical grade type of requirements, and you've got MSOs that need a constant, consistent output. So he knew that with his engineering background, he could create something that ensured from your first pre-roll out of the machine to your 8,000th pre-roll, you hold them together, they're the same pack, the same fill, and same quality. And customers want that from each experience from the next to the next.
Absolutely. And when you're investing with these machines, which aren't necessarily cheap, you want to know that this product is going to last a very long time. I'm sure people love to hear that. So what problem are you guys solving? And who is your main customer base?
What tends to happen is folks get into cannabis for an investment opportunity, and there's a attraction to distribute flower, and then you start to look at the different products, and with some of them you have to buy from a processor. Not everybody has extraction machines and all the different fancy machinery to kind of make something in-house, so you're kind of limited to buying a lot of things at wholesale. And what people tend to overlook is the ability to create your own pre-roll solution in-house for a very affordable cost. So quickest way to say it is, for less than $10,000 you could invest in some of our pre-roll automation machines, with the cost of flower being what it is and then the cost in the retail market. I mean, there's an opportunity to make honestly over 500% margin if you're buying from packed wholesale pre-rolls and then going into bringing that in-house. I've got more data on that I'm happy to share later, but the problem that it solves is really just folks looking to maximize their investment in cannabis. And if you have the production already going on, or you have a facility and you have bulk flower and you're not making pre-rolls, that's one of our best challenges to solve, is what are you going to do with that square footage and how can we maximize it?
I love it. I think that's one of the coolest things about being in the space, is that there's so many ways to optimize the yield that you have. It's just awesome to hear about that. So I'm sure it's really exciting for people to hear that as well. So let's say someone does invest in your guys' product. Can you tell me a bit about what the support is like? And because it is a big investment, so tell me a bit about what the warranty and return information is. And these are fairly complicated machines. What type of training and support do you guys offer in that way?
Phenomenal questions. That's why we love working with you guys there, because you vet out every aspect of it. We have a client services team, and the leader of that team has been in client services for 20 years. So that's what he lives and breathes by. Everything is ticket oriented, and when someone has a question, it comes in from an email or we'll log it on a call. But if somebody enters a question through email, it creates a ticket immediately. and client services engages. I mean, we want you to work through your partner and get assistance. Sometimes it is a one phone call solution. Maybe it's an adjustment. And again, that's why we like working with partners like you, because you can help quick little remedies if need be. But if it is a service engagement, there is something out of tolerance or spec, we get involved, and we can do a lot of things over Zoom and solve it there. And that's been very effective use that we have. Or if need be, we sometimes bring a machine back and do a repair. The warranty period on all machines is 1 year standard. There is an opportunity to uplift that. These machines have a pretty good work life expectancy. We don't have one now that we sort of authorize, but I understand there's a really healthy secondary market, and our machines are in demand because there's not a lot of them out there in that space, and people are trying to come into that kind of budget area. But it lets us know that these machines hold their value for a long time.
That's awesome. And likewise with you guys, Adam, I love working with you guys. You guys really, really go all out. I mean, we don't work with anyone who doesn't absolutely take care of the customer on the back end. And so that's awesome to hear. So let's, without mentioning names, before we jump into your guys' entire line, which I want to hear all about, what makes STM stand out against other pre-roll companies in the space?
Two things right off the bat. We don't have as big of a marketing budget, so people don't tend to catch us, but we are made out of metal. Everything is metal, everything is precision, everything is engineered to be, a long mean time between failure, years of use. Some of the competitors have easier to purchase products. They're made out of plastic. The slots are really close together. It looks attractive in picture. The actual use of it, and with plastic, sometimes resins and other things can get kind of attached. So people really love the ease of just the metal. It's also industrial food grade metal, cleans up nicely in between your different strains and terpenes. You don't want to use some of those other machines, again, because they just kind of attach particle residuals. Our stuff can be cleaned down with isopropyl alcohol and really to the medical grade. And so that's one thing that stands out. And then just being made in America. We're not a imported company that imports parts and assembles things, and our modularity is a pretty big standout too. So we do have the ability to do it all in one machine, and I have them in front of me here. We've got these 6 different machines, but I'm going to talk about more of our rocket box ones later. But when you're looking at pre-roll solutions, you might be looking at over $150,000 for an all-in-one, which has all-in-one. One point of failure brings all of it down. We've got 6 different machines that make up an all-in-one, and the advantage there is you can get just one because you can afford that machine, and that brings your volume up, bringing your revenue up, and then you're at a point where maybe you'll add the second machine. So they like the ability to grow and scale with our solution, as opposed to really having to take a big chunk out of financing, and your ROI and break-even times are even longer in that. So with cannabis, it can be a risk in your investment scheme, so you kind of want to also think about your exit strategy. And people can get into our machine solutions easy and start making money right away and get to that break-even point much sooner.
Hey guys, quick interruption here. I just want to let you know that every single product mentioned on this episode is available for sale at greenthumbdepot.com. We love hearing from growers just like you. So if you mention that you heard about us on this episode, we might even be able to throw in a bit of a discount. You can shoot me a personal email at james@greenthumbdepot.com or give us a call at 833-416-0375. We have the best prices on the internet and the best customer service. Not to mention, we offer free shipping across the continental U.S. with no sales tax outside of Nevada. All right, let's get back to the episode. I think that the most important thing you said there is that really what it comes down to is that when you do invest in one of these machines, it is going to increase your ROI, and you are going to have more money to invest into more and more of your guys' line and more technology just to grow. So that's, I think, the most important part people should realize is that, yes, it is a fairly hefty investment, and yes, there are possibilities to get financing, which we can help you with, but generally, it's going to pay for itself. That's a really important thing people should realize. If they've got the amount of product that is going to work out for them, then it's absolutely going to be an ROI. So you mentioned the Rocket Box. Let's talk about the Rocket Boxes. You guys have 3 versions: the mini Rocket Box, the Rocket Box 2.0, and the Rocketbox Pro. Could you tell me a bit about what type of customer each one of those would be for, and maybe some of the specifications, what type of performance you can expect out of each of them?
Absolutely, and it will help to kind of preface with something that helps to know with all of our machines. We utilize this tray design, and I wish I had one here, but it's a box, and that box has 72 holes across the top for your pre-roll cones to slide in, and that one tray that you use can move between the machines if we're going to leverage the one tray workflow, which will help you with your staffing. You can literally just use one person and they can go between the machines with that one tray. And the Rocketbox Mini leverages that one tray with 72 holes in it. The Rocketbox 2.0, the top tray is completely different. It's designed for the clients that kind of have maybe even started with the Rockbox and gotten to that growth point where they're realizing their margin gains, and now they want to get bigger contracts and get bigger opportunities. The Rocketbox 2.0 has 453 slots in the top trays. It's a much bigger machine. You're basically able to fill ounce worth of pre-rolls in under a minute, and that's a lot of pre-rolls coming out of there. And then once you tax that machine and you're just raking in the dough hand over foot, and your pre-roll business is skyrocketing and you start to get MSO contracts, the Rocketbox Pro is 5 of those 72 trays lined up together, independently working, but in that assembly line able to do different paper heights, different strain profiles, different customers. So it really leverages the one tray workflow. And you probably would have 2 or 3 members, but that's when you're exceeding or near like 10,000 pre-rolls or more a day, which is easily obtainable with us.
Okay, cool. So basically the Mini Rocketbox Plus is kind of someone who's just getting started out. The Rocketbox 2.0 is more medium size, you could say, and the Rocketbox Pro is for those that have really gone all out. Now they're looking for MSO contracts. So could you tell me a bit about just what the output is for each of them? So the per minute or per hour or however you guys measure it.
Yeah, this question's always going to be, I could say, how fast does it take you to clean your car? It's as good as the staff that you have and the training. And I know you want to talk about that, so I'll save that. But we do provide on-hands, on-site training. And when your technician is trained and their efficiency is maximized, it's a much more desirable output. We don't like to falsify things. We're very transparent. Your first month or two, your guy's going to be learning and he's going to have some errors and stuff. But in general, the Rocketbox Mini, one human on average can make roughly 2,500 quality pre-rolls in a shift. You could kind of take that and multiply that on the Pro, since there's 5 of those slots versus the 1. And on the 2.0, it's different because that doesn't use the one tray workflow. So what you would do is you would have your 453, and then more than likely you're gonna be doing twist closes or something like that. Generally the output that makes sense is if you're under 2,000 a month. I mean, it maybe won't make sense, but if you're over 3,000 a month, especially a week or even a day, it really makes sense because you just can't manually make that many. So I think the Rocketbox just solves that solution, where probably a perfect situation would be a store owner, dispensary owner that is buying them wholesale, realized he wants to try, has bought some smaller machines, under a couple $1,000s to try to make it, and it's going well, but you realize you've got 2 guys that can only make a couple hundred at best in a day. The way to really maximize the margin is with that volume.
Cool. Awesome answer. So let's talk about the grinders. You got the Mini Revolution and the Revolution 2.0. Tell me a bit about these.
Again, depending on where your sort of volume expectations are, there are given specifications on what will fit in there, but in general, if you're not doing 10,000 or more a day, the Mini Revolution is fine. And we use metal food grade blades that cross cut, and they don't damage terpenes like a plastic whip that spins around like a weed eater. Those tend to actually leave remnants in product because those plastic whips need to be replaced over time. So we like to use metal that just isn't abrasive to your product and damaging those valuable terpenes. And it's of course designed by us for our machines. So your grade of output is pretty much ready for a pre-roll. It's going to homogenize really well inside those pre-rolls. And in some instances, we've even only sold just the grinder because, maybe someone else has some other machine, but we made the grinder specifically for the pre-roll industry so that its output, even with a little bit of stems that are going to make it in there, they're well ground up too. You don't get these kind of sticks showing up in your product.
Cool. And I think the most important thing I heard there is just that, your terpenes are going to be saved and you don't have to worry about any potential infection of plastic into the material. That'd be devastating.
Well, think about it. Would you want to have a sliced tomato, or let me use my weed eater and cut a slice of tomato for you? You can just think of how it's blasting all over the place. But anyhow.
Cool. And let's close on some of your guys' other products. You've got the Astro Infuser, the closing machine, and the Cone Lander pre-roll cone loader. So what is the Astro Infuser?
The Astro Infuser is the latest and greatest. So as far as what's new or what's coming, the Astro Infuser was officially launched at MJBizCon last year in Vegas, and we've sold out, and it's a great product. It uses that one tray workflow, and there's 12 needle injections that come down. And so some machines do one at a time and it's moving through. We do 12, so we can do 72 pre-rolls in about a minute on the machine, and that's just processing through the machine. But if you're using our grinder and taking that product and putting it in the Rocketbox Mini and then filling them and then making it over to the infuser, you're really processing a lot. That infuser has made a lot of customers happy, and it is a very high growth area in the industry, especially in these boutique offerings that's where people are differentiating. We've got great strains out there, but I'm starting to see mixed strains and different kind of, almost these craft cocktails. So the infuser has given the industry a little bit of ability to get creative out there, and we love it. I want to make sure I say this. Our customers tend to win awards if they enter these cannabis contests or cups or different types of things. The quality, the burn. We put out a really nice product, and our customers love us for that.
Let me ask you one question. This may be a bit of a silly question, but what exactly is the Astro Infuser infusing into these? What is that needle putting into them?
It could be whatever the client has an interest in. Just had a webinar the other day. We did a live demo. Client intends to use bubble hash. Some medical markets might be looking for a specific mixture, that's just hard to actually, end up with from a yield out of a grow. It's a liquid, matter, and we designed it and tested it with room temperature honey, believe it or not. Now, most people won't actually do that, but any liquids, that you want to infuse into your pre-roll, we kind of designed it let the customer decide, and that's kind of there.
That seems super cutting edge. It's kind of you make your own Frankenstein joint. I love that. That's really, really cool. So let's talk about the closing machine.
Closing machine, again, leverages that one tray workflow. So if a question pops up, what do most clients usually start with? Well, hands down, for $6,600 retail, the Rocketbox Mini is our number one selling machine. It serves the purpose. Even if you're a large facility, it's a great budget-friendly way to get in and try it. And if somebody ever marries that Rocketbox Mini with the machine, it's typically the closer, because once you have those 72 pre-rolls filled and your top areas left up ready to close, we want to maximize the time it takes, reduce the human touch on that and the inconsistencies with that. And that closer, just like the infuser has the 12 needles, that closer comes down and around 12 at a time, puts a Dutch crown close that's the same every single time. So we've got a few graphics that I'd love to splash up there, but every one of our pre-rolls, again, the first one in the morning to the 2700 at the end of the day, exactly the same.
That's super cool. And I will say, watching these machines go, we'll try and put some up here, right? But it is so satisfactory to see them all just kind of working together. So final question, the Cone Lander pre-roll cone loader machine. Tell me about this.
We do demos, and we tend to not use that a lot. It's a bigger machine, but when someone does have a higher volume, what you're circumventing is that manual process. If you have a box of cones, they come on that kind of stacked, about 8 of them, 10 or whatever it is. And these technicians are really skilled at kind of grabbing that and dropping in the slots. you've got some manual time in that, and there is a rate of error in that, especially the faster you're trying to go. That cone lander just automates that. That's what we are. We're pre-roll automation. We solve problems, and if you're having a challenge with just getting the fill done and you're throwing away a lot of product, or you see your technicians are having problems, that cone lander, you load the cones up and it fills that tray up, and then you just grab that tray and go right to the rocket box. So we do work with clients on specific types of solutions. Bundles are very, very easy for us to put together, and when we work with someone like you guys at Green Thumb there, we like to get very creative. So when there's 2 or 3 machines in the discussion, we already know that you're probably going to need an extra tray, and we like to bring that to the table. And you're joining our family, so we want to make it a really easy transition for you. We talked about the training again. That's one of our must-have deliverables. I mean, some people have bought these machines online and just off they're going, but it helps to have an overview, and they're designed with simplicity in mind. These aren't a lot of digital type of machines. I mean, my toaster oven's I think more complex than some of our machines are. It's all just a industrial grade piece of metal, and it has two buttons in some of cases, and it's easy to run.
Okay, so, and just want to chime in one more time with the bundles, with all of that stuff. We would love to help out any growers that are interested in getting involved. So if you're listening to this and that sounds good, please reach out. You can reach out to me directly at james@greenthumbdepot.com. So let's say I've just bought the whole product line, the STM Canna line. I want to visually know how this is going to work. I've got this massive harvest. We've got all this bud. Where do we start? What am I going to do with that from the very start? And then how does it end up in some nice, beautiful pre-rolls?
There's a natural attraction to the market. The inhalant category is the highest in demand from either the recreation or medical markets. So smokable is just a category that's never going to go away. And what I want to say about that is if you work backwards from sort of the numbers, you'll really see where the attraction comes from. And if you consider that a pound of wholesale THC flower, let's just even pad it, and if that costs between $300 and $500, out of a pound of cannabis, you can get, let's just say, about 7,000 pre-rolls. If your product's costing you under $1,000 and you can make technically 7,000 pre-rolls and sell them around $10, there's a huge upside of revenue there. So if you've bought all our machines, congratulations. We want to get you up and running and do that crawl, walk, run. Our first week, we're probably not going to make as many as we can the second week, but we would want to walk you through that process and help you get up to optimization, because the quicker you can turn out those 7,200 pre-rolls on that 1 pound investment, the quicker you can get on to the next one. And that's, again, what we're seeing in the marketplace is every time a new state changes and comes on board with legalization, the demand spikes, and these suppliers might not have a room for any more business. It creates new opportunity for entrepreneurs in the industry, and I think this is one of the biggest areas and most attractive areas. In my wellness company, I pretty much know that every product I buy, I'm going to have about a 50% margin. If I could actually extract the oil and put it in the bottle, I could, with this pre-roll solutions we have, you can actually control the supply chain, control the quality, control when you want to make them, how many you want to make. And honestly, I was buying my pre-rolls for $4 back then because I had a smaller volume. If I could get that down to under $1, and you're talking about 7,000 pre-rolls, the math's not that hard. So the question was, if you've bought all our machines, where are we going to start? Well, we're going to roll through that grinder. We're going to take that product and show you and put it on that mini that you probably got to route out this machine. From there, we're going to infuse it if you have gone that route. And from that, the weighing pad, we didn't really elaborate on that, but the weighing pad has 72 small little displayed holes, and it shows you whether you're above tolerance, intolerance, or below tolerance, and it tends to be intolerance coming from our machine, but it just gives you the assurance and ability to say on your quotes that you're responding to that you have a high degree of quality assurance. Each pre-roll between runs is not going to have a plus minus that varies 10%. From there, the closer is pretty much the final machine, and again, that's where you'll see the biggest time savings, going from that manual twist to that Dutch crown close. And you could either then pack them yourselves, and that's getting into a whole other topic of packers, because there's a whole packaging and packer industry out there, and that's a big vertical for us. But from those pre-rolls, some of these dispensaries actually just kind of put them together in a nice jar. There's a lot of different ways to go to market with it, James, but we're more concerned with that assembly line and making as many as you need today to meet your numbers and supply your customers with quality products.
Cool. And my final question regarding STM Canna, I do have a few kind of fun, interesting questions about the industry I want to get into. But my final question, I want to give you a chance to highlight any success stories of you guys working with any particular companies where they, purchased your guys' product and then saw some awesome returns. Is there anything you could talk about there?
Yeah, efficiency is always a great success story, and it almost sounds too cliche. We helped a client save 50% on their production. I think that the biggest thing that I like to share is we had a client that was moving, going through the rigors of selecting machines, and they ultimately selected us based on what we've talked about here, a lot of obvious things. But they'd been making pre-rolls previously and hadn't really had much acclaim from it. And then after they went with us, they were so efficient and doing so well. They were growing markets. They were attracted to some of these contests out there and decided to enter some. And I'll tell you, when a client calls you to tell you that they just won an award for the quality of their pre-roll, that's a success story that everybody at STM just kind of, for a moment, maybe weeped a little bit. But our products are so well put together that you could put your brand on it, enter a contest, and win first place. That's success for us at STM.
That is probably one of the best sales points. STM will win you rewards.
And that's marketing. I mean, you enter this contest for that. So when someone says, hey, who's the best pre-roll in town? You'll know it's STM, but they're going to tell you, it's your dispensary brand. And then we just go into the sunset together.
Cool. So just some final questions on the industry. As you're an industry expert, I would love to hear your feedback. What are some of the biggest challenges facing cannabis producers today?
Well, everyone's going to, in the first few minutes of that conversation, talk about the industry is not what it was a couple years ago. Well, nothing's what it was a couple years ago because the constructs have changed completely. But amidst the changes in the volume, and if it isn't the same, meaning that it's not as fast as it was in the past, it creates more opportunity for us, but people, again, might not think about looking at us. So our biggest challenge is just the marketing and getting the message out. That's why we love working with partners like you that know how to go to market. But if you're in a cannabis business and you've got the ability, whether you're a processor or you've got a facility and you've got some square footage, at MJ Discon we had a 10 by 10 demo room that had 4 of our machines, and with 4 of our machines you're talking about being able to make between 5, 7 or 10,000 pre-rolls a day. If you've got a facility and you aren't using it, imagine that about $1,000 investment in product and labor to make 7,000 pre-rolls that sell for $10 a piece. So that's our biggest challenge, is helping people realize that there's growth and opportunity in pre-rolls, but it doesn't, tend to stand out because, I don't know, people think maybe it's too laborious, or these all-in-one machines might cloud the vision. But seriously, for under 15 grand, you could get 2 machines from us, start making about 5,000 pre-rolls, and if you're the one that's selling them for $3-4 and they're costing you under $1, that's a couple $1,000s in profit. And when you're sitting on bulk product especially, this is definitely an avenue to look into. And it's fun. I mean, these things it's what cannabis kind of, the culture was built around. It's the inhalant, and we love gummies and we love tinctures and those types of things too, and we might look into some of those areas. We started in pre-rolls. It's all we do. We remain focused on that. And I think the industry is just going to keep growing. We know that there's still, about 20 states that haven't changed their stance on legalization. And every time that happens, demand changes. So there's probably still another 500% growth over the next few years. And we're positioned well. We're actually expanding, getting another facility on the East U.S. over in Florida somewhere so we can ship internationally. And also, not everybody likes to go to the Northwest for a demo, especially in the winter. So down here in Florida, we're going to be opening up a new facility in 2024 to help meet our expansion and demand needs.
I think that's an important thing to highlight, is that, yes, the industry may have slowed down a bit since 2020, 2021, but you're still early if you're getting involved. It is a little bit difficult to get involved. It's very competitive. But it seems like the competitive edge from everyone I'm talking to is maximizing the profit from your product. And whether that's pre-rolls, or some other sort of extraction. That's what's really going to set you apart, and that's what's going to really keep you competitive in this incredibly competitive space.
Absolutely, James. We know you guys are top notch with your data research, and we appreciate the attention you've put into us and the amount of extensive interaction we've done and training for the machine. So we know that if someone's working with you, that it's as good as working directly with us, and we're all going to team up together and help. And our goal is to have that customer win that first place award, and then we can all rejoice. So thanks for the time today. Any questions, just get a hold of the good guys over there at Green Thumb, and we'll just talk to you as we see you out there. And let's be ready to roll, my friend.
Yep, and just like you guys, we love to see our customers win. So thank you so much, Adam. This was a really, really educational conversation. And again, if you guys have any questions, if you guys ever want to talk, reach out to me at james@greenthumbdepot.com. Happy to help. Thanks, Adam. Have a great day.
You got it, buddy. All right, see ya.